a Mkiii Supra. It is an 89, and today I'm going to be showing you how to install some fiberglass bumper extensions. So let's get to it. So obviously I already took the rear mud flap off. There is a mud flap that bolts on, I believe it's by 4 or 5 screws. They are a 8mm. You gotta pop those off so that way you can get this on. And what I'm going to do is put some tape on the bumper so I don't end up scratching the bumper. And then that way it'll lay on there and I can get it where I want it and start getting it mounted. So now that you have your tape on there, you'll have your rear bumper add-on. What I had to do for mocking up was I actually trimmed a little bit right here. As you can see, I just hit it with a grinder, and I took a little bit off this corner because it was ended up hitting on that right there. So I've kind of messed with this a little bit. I've sanded it down. I kind of prepped it. This is going to be the actual bolt-on mock-up, just to see if I can get it all mounted up properly. So as you can see, I got it kind of just pushed on there for right now. There is a little lip right here. I don't know if you guys can see that. There's just that little overhang that's about as far back as I can go. So what I'll probably end up doing, because I have a little bit of an overhang here, I'll probably end up just scooting the trim, fill that in a little bit. So once you get that on, what I'm gonna do is try to get this pushed back and then get this where I want to drill my holes for my hardware, because I'm going to do probably 2 or 3 bolts, and then there's going to be some inside the wheel well to hold it. Okay, I took the wheel off just for more clearance and to show you guys, but it goes pretty far up in there. What I'm going to do is obviously push this back, push this in up against the bumper, and then I'm going to do some hardware on this lip, because that'll be the most hidden because of this lip here. If you look at it from this way, it'll hide that. So I'm hoping that will work out, and then I might do another one on that corner just to kind of hold that up, but should be pretty simple. So once you get that all mocked up, I got myself a drill, got some bits. I'm going to start with a tiny one, smaller one for a guide hole. What I'm going to do is probably end up using a caliper so I can etch the edge of this and have a perfect mark for where I want it. Which, if you don't know what that is, it's one of these. You make them in digital, you make them in whatever you want them really to be in. Mine, for instance, is a old school, gotta read the numbers, doesn't do it for you. So I'm gonna set it probably say probably about 1/2 inch off the edge of this. So then what I'll do is I'll take this and I'll just scribe a line. Kind of hard to see. There is a line there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop from the top down. I'm going to do that 1 inch. from the top of there. So I got a little plus right there for my other one. And then I'm gonna go 2 inches in between. Wait, so two, oh yeah, 2 would be perfect. So I'm gonna do 2, put that on there, and then you just etch. And then I am just gonna do 1 down here. Just kind of random, just to help push that up. So we set that off to the side. And just so you guys can kind of see here, basically there is the line. That's exactly 1/2 inch off the edge. And then there is a little groove that you can see right there, right there, right there. And those are 2 inches apart. And there's another one down here, just for that, help push it up, but there's no gap here. So if I do 1 down here, push it up, push it in, and then eventually there'll be a seam of urethane on the edge. Now, take a drill, and you're gonna drill into the bumper on all those marks that you have. So this keeps wanting to slide forward, so what I'm gonna do is actually push. I don't know if you can see it move here. I'm gonna push this with my knee and hold it, and then take my drill. So this might be the part that might be tricky. I have a tool for rib nuts. Basically, it's one of these. For some reason there's a nut on there. What you do is it has an insert, threads on there. So like this one right now, it's 5/16. So you take, comes with this assortment. And what you do is you take these. I'm not going to do 5/16. I'm going to do 1/4 20. You have these little inserts here, and what these do is this is the piece that threads into that tool. It's not the right one, but basically this will thread on here, and then you open this up, and when you tighten it, it will pull that down, and it'll crimp this inside that hole, so that way you can thread a bolt in there, because that is a threaded nut. So once you get your threaded insert on there, you can thread this on there. What you do is you open this up, thread this on as far as it'll go, and then I'll show you an example. So when you tighten this down, it will crimp. And what you do is you can open it and it'll raise it, spin it down some more, get it tight on there. See how it just mushrooms it out? Basically what happens is when that mushrooms out, that pinches, that'll pinch the 2 layers in between those 2 mushroom lips. So for instance, that'll be the bumper. Not this, that'll be the bumper. So what I will do is you will take this off, set this off to the side, and then what I like to do, I grab obviously a new one, grab some drill bits, and you figure out what size is equal to your hole. So this bit, for instance, is 11/32, which is pretty pretty close, pretty accurate. So that's the one I'm gonna use. So once you get your bit, you have your guide holes here. You'll take this. So there's your 3 mounting holes. So what you do is you get that riv nut tool. And you thread your bit on there, or your insert. Put that in there. And you thread this on a little bit more. And then, voila, you have one insert. And it sits pretty flush. I don't know if you guys can see that, but you do that times 3. So once you get that all done, I'm gonna take this piece again. Obviously, I have my 3 holes on here. It's kind of hard to see. There are 3 holes. I'm gonna drill those to 1/4 20 or 1/4 thread. And what I'm gonna do is I am going to do a piece of tape on the holes. Just kind of keeps flaring from the fiberglass. Put it on there. Now you got your 3 holes, and this will slide on. Once you get that on, you're gonna put your bolts in there, all the way down. I gotta drill one more in the bottom, and I'm probably gonna do another one here, just to kind of help support it a little bit. But try to take a break to look at that sweet shot. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna put bolts in here just to hold it, and I'm gonna drill a couple more once I get it held on there. So obviously this will go on. And then I just have some older bolts that I'm using, nothing pretty yet. So I got one bolt in there. I'm gonna try to push this up now and try to get another bolt here, another one there. just to hold it on there. Got 2 more drilled. Okay, I got the other 2 on there. So let's get this piece on. Slide that forward. Bolt. I'm gonna leave them all finger tight until I get them all in there. Alright, once you get those all in there, I'm going to come over here and tighten them a little bit. See how snug I can get it up on the bumper. So I got these on, so I was completely bolted on. I'm missing a bolt, trying to get one on the top. And now, time to get some in here. We're gonna see how that all goes. Put that clip back on there, push in. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm going to take my caliber, I'm going to set it at 1/2 inch again. So there's a line in there, obviously you guys can't see it. And then I'm only going to do probably 2 in here. So I'm going to space this out at 2 inches again. Once you get that all marked up, start drilling. I was originally going to put one here, but my gas tank is right on the other side of this shield, so it might not, because I really don't want to drill into the tank. So I might end up just drilling a hole and just putting a zip tie back in here to hold it. but it's honestly pretty secure as it is, because I mean, this right here scoops your bumper. So when you push it backwards, it actually will suck your bumper up. And then the only reason I wanted to do one here was for the gap up here. There's that little bit of a gap right there, because if I do those, I can push that in and hide it. But I do have a whole quarter panel coming for the car, so that will obviously move my trim. It'll move that trim, it'll move the skirt, it'll move everything, because it's going to go from the spoiler underneath the window all the way to the door jamb down, and it's going to come out here all the way over, out, and then it goes up flush with the taillight on the end. And it's going to be I want to say they said it was about 1.5 inch difference in wide body. So because I already have one for the front, as you can see, you get parallel with the car. The front's already wide body. The front's, I believe, 1.75 inches. So I need to do the rear. That's in the middle of shipping right now. But at least this way, this will get us away from being stuck without this piece on here. So now that this is on, the wide body shows up. This will all be ready to be painted. It'll all be mocked up. All I have to do is mock the wide body, do some hardware here along the window and inside the door jamb, and be good. So let's get this piece finished up. So I kind of skipped this part, but I got the rib nuts back there, and I'm switching up the hardware because like I said, these are just miscellaneous bolts I have. So I'm switching them to these, which will probably end up being what the finished product will be, but a little bit smaller. So these will thread in there. All right, so I got those 2 bolts in there to hold it on. So now what I'm gonna do is rip all my tape off, take this off, and see how it looks for flush wise. I think we're gonna call that a night. Got the one on there. It honestly sits pretty flush. It has a little bit of a gap right there, which I probably could have messed with, but I can live with that. I honestly think it completes the fender well a lot more. So it has more of a curve instead of just coming down and stopping, because the original bumper stops about right here. So it definitely fills in a little bit. So the only thing I need to get now, my rear wide body kit, mount the other side, get everything painted, and we'll be good to go. So if you want to give it a shout out at the Instagram, there you go, or hit a subscribe on the YouTube.